Oh, hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to the GSN Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, John J. II, and it is Masters Week. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, we are in the mood. We are feeling the vibes of Masters Week. We are through 36 holes. We just wrapped up the second round coverage of tuning into the coverage. And wow, all I can say is Rory McIlroy is at the top of his game, and he is atop the golf world. The golf landscape is being dominated by Rory McIlroy, and we kind of expected this to happen. Okay, obviously the reigning champ coming into Augusta. You got a lot of new faces coming into Augusta this week, and it's exciting stuff. It's the first time for a lot of these golfers, and they're just kind of feeling things out. Rory is obviously he's no surprise visitor to Augusta National. He's a golfer that frequents the grounds of Augusta, the hallowed grounds of Augusta National year after year, and only completing the Grand Slam last year. Now, he was expected to complete this Grand Slam a long time ago. I spent a lot of time this past week looking at and viewing final round coverages of previous year's Masters tournaments. And to my dismay, there's so many missed opportunities. You see all these opportunities that the environment, the vibes, the aura gets to these golfers. And these guys are the top of their game. I mean, we're going to look at the leaderboard here in a minute. But when you talk about the vibes being the highest that they could be, when the pressure is at the highest level it could possibly be, that's what you're seeing here at Augusta National. And that's what you're going to get when you're going to watch a Masters, when you're taking part in the Masters, if you have the luxury to be one of the patrons at the Masters. If you have a chance to be a part of it, then you're blessed to do that. So looking at the field, there's obviously some great golfers in the field, and I talked to Sobo. We chop it up on the daily about what's going on in the golf world. And we're in a few golf pools. We're in one, but he's in several, and he is very in tune with the ins and outs of the golf world, of the PGA Tour mostly. And it's caused me to really take a new liking to the game of golf, one, and two, the PGA Tour, the ins and outs. And I got to give a shout out to datagolf.com to basically, they have all the golf stats that you could ever need and you could ever want. So shout out to Data Golf. But to look at the ins and outs, to figure out the ins and outs, to figure out the world, what goes behind the scenes, goes on behind the scenes of sports betting when it comes to the game of golf, when it comes to betting on golf events. There's so much luck involved where it's like you can look at stat sheets, you can look at previous performances, past performances of previous events, last year's events, who won the event last year, and really it's all bullshit. You could throw it all out the window because none of it really matters. Past performance, and this is the most truest thing when it comes to golf, but it's true across the board, I believe. Past performance or past performances do not guarantee future results. And that couldn't be more true when you're talking about sports betting on golf. And now, we always say on this show, bet with your head, not with your heart. It's easier said than done. Trust me, I know that. And it can be said, too, and we're going to talk about the Michigan Wolverines here momentarily. We're going to give them a short stint here on the GSN pod just because there's only very few words that can be said about that. And we'll do that. We'll give them their 2 seconds of glory, I guess you can say. But be it as it may, the Masters is the granddaddy of them all, and it is a tradition unlike any other. So that is what it is. Let's look at the scoreboard here real quick, just to look at it from a glance. We're gonna look at it and see who performed or outperformed themselves today mostly, and who really did what they had to do to climb in the leaderboard. Now I'm looking at Cameron Young. He had a tough par there at the end. He was 5 under today, finished yesterday at 1 over. So he's 4 under for the tournament. He should have finished 5 under. Tough par putt with a short putt there. I believe it was on 17. Could have been, I think it was 18 actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just watched it. On 18, he missed a tough one for birdie, wound up taking the par. Wyndham Clark shot out of his mind, moving up 10 spots, shooting a 68 today on Friday, finishing 4 under, and he is 4 under for the tournament. Sam Burns drops 1 spot after shooting a 1 under 71 today. Now, everybody expected Sam Burns, as he was the co-leader yesterday. We expected him to dominate today, at least be in the middle of the pack when it comes to getting close to Rory. Now, Rory has a 6-stroke lead over the next guy, which is Patrick Reed and Sam Burns. Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose short behind them. Justin Rose had a day. He had himself a day, shot a 69. Now, that score of 69, in my opinion, doesn't really showcase the round that he had. He had a tough bogey on 1, wound up getting a nice birdie on 7, and finished out the 9 with a nice birdie on 9 for a 35 going out into the field. And Justin Rose is a class act. We watched, and what I watched too this past week, of several, I'm talking several final rounds of the Masters tournament. Justin Rose in the middle of the pack pretty much most of the time. Let's just say all the time. You don't want to say all the time. You don't want to make blanket statements, and for sure I don't. But Justin Rose was in the middle of the pack. He was in the conversation. Now, he doesn't have a green jacket. He is somebody that everybody has their eyes on. And now, obviously, if I'm playing in a tournament, I've had several dreams about it, okay? And you can talk about it. Oh, yeah, big deal. You've had these dreams. You can talk about out your ass about it. Well, the reality of the matter is I've had several dreams where I'm in a golf tournament, playing in a golf tournament, and I'm not the leader, okay? I'm not the leader, but you know what I'm doing? I'm fighting from behind. I'm a couple strokes back, but I'm in the hunt. I'm clipping at the heels of whoever's in first place, and I'm trying to get them in my clutches if I can. So that's where you kind of got to put your mindset. When you're these guys that are in the hunt, I'd almost rather be those guys. Now, you want to be a little bit tighter, keep it a little bit more of a tighter of a match. And Rory is just playing out of his mind right now. He's really creating a significant amount of cushion for himself in the leader spot. But be it as it may, he's done it. He's done it for a long time, and he's played this course, and obviously he's a reigning champ. But to win it twice in a row is not easy. It's been done before, but it is not easy by any stretch. But Justin Rose, keep an eye on Justin Rose going into the weekend. I got my sights on him. I think he's going to do great things going into the weekend. If I was going to place a bet going into the weekend for a top 5 or a top 2, top 3 pick, whatever you can get in these sports books are offering everything for golf betting nowadays. Get a top 3 pick. Take Justin Rose, and I like the odds on that. I love to see the odds on the slip for that pick. But damn, let's just look at Rory McIlroy's scorecard here real quick. Now, he finished the round with 4 straight birdies, given he had a chip in on 17. Now, if you have the luxury to be able to birdie the par 3 12th on Amen Corner, then you're playing pretty good. Playing pretty good. That hole's always played tough. No one's got an ace on that hole since the 80s. If that says anything about that hole. Now, that hole, you got Rays Creek running through right in front of it. You got the bunker in front. You got the mulch in the back. You got some weeds back there, maybe some shrubbery. The landscaping is they outdid themselves at Augusta, and they keep it tip-top shape over there at Augusta. But you got Rays Creek. You have the bridge. That just embodies the aura of the Masters, that hole, number 12, the par 3. But it has a stigma to it that it really gets inside the heads of these golfers. They're looking at this hole, and they're not really sure what club to take. Now, you got a kidney-sized green, which is longer than it is deep, wider than it is deep. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking. You have to be on the number. Now, the hole was playing, I believe it was playing 156 today. And John Rahm, not really playing too good, not doing too great. Masters champion previously in 2023, but not playing too great. He's a big guy, okay? He plays in the LIV Tour, be it as it may, bygones be bygones, so what? He's a big guy. He works out. He does stuff in the gym. He works out in the gym. He's hitting a 9-iron at 156. Now, if that says anything about that hole, now I know I have a pretty good hunch he can hit a 9-iron farther than 156. Now, I get the green is a little bit elevated. It's a little bit higher up. But at the same time, if you're hitting a 9-iron at a 156-yard hole, then, and you're trying to dial it in, he hit the green. He was pin high today. Then you know you need another club. You know you need extra club, but you don't want to go too far deep. You don't want to go two clubs up because the wind can get in your mind too, and you got a lot of things to deal with. But if you're clubbing up to a 9-iron, I mean, I could comfortably get, still air. Maybe I got a little bit of a wind behind me. Not a big wind. I'm saying like less than 5 miles an hour. I can get a pitching wedge to 156. Maybe a little bit of elevation. You get me 10 foot of elevation from tee to green. I could probably get a pitching wedge there. Now a 9-iron, I might think even if I got a little bit of wind in my face, I think I'm going to have to throttle a 9-iron to get there. Now, I was watching him. He doesn't have the longest backswing, as you know. If you know John Rahm, he doesn't have the longest backswing. But he took a full swipe at it. And there was no power withheld from that swing from John Rahm today. And he did make the cut, with the cut line being at 4 over par. Course is playing tough. It's playing firm and fast. Now, when you're watching the Masters, it's very dry down in Augusta, Georgia right now, too. So, be it as it may, it is what it is. It is what it is. But at the same time, the course is going to play tough. The course is going to play tough. So that's just the reality of the Masters, and it's going to always play tough. It's going to always play tough, whether it's playing firm and fast, whether it's playing a little bit soft on the greens. It's playing lush. They still keep that course very lush. They still water everything. It's not like things are dying. Fairways rough, etc. You got the pine straw. You got the different elements. You got the creek level playing areas where you might have to pitch out of the creek or the low spots down by the creek bed. But there's a lot of undulation with the course. If you ever had the luxury to go to Augusta, Georgia, and go to Augusta National, then you would know that course in its entirety has a lot of undulation. And that means a lot of ups and downs. It means a lot of elevation, a lot of low spots. With 12 over down there by Rays Creek being one of the lower parts of the course. Now, Sobo's been there. I haven't been there before. I know people that have been there. But it is it's a bucket list destination. So let's look at some notable names that did not make the cut. Okay, Ryan Fox, obviously superstar in his own right. Not really of a big shot, household name. He goes 77, 72. Danny Willett, previous Masters winner, did not make it. Bubba Watson, he has a green jacket. He did not make the cut. J.J. Spawn didn't make the cut. That's kind of surprising. DeChambeau got cut, shooting 76, 74. Zach Johnson's got a jacket. He did not make the cut, 75, 75. Akshay didn't make the cut. Robbie McIntyre, Bobby Mack, did not make the cut. Now, these guys, some of these guys I mentioned, Akshay, Bryson, J.J. Spawn, Robert McIntyre. These are among the names of players that were expected to be in the conversation to win the Masters this year. Min Woo Lee, okay? These guys are in the conversation to win, and they don't even make the cut. So if that says anything about Augusta National and how it's playing right now, it's playing dry, it's playing firm and fast. You can hear it when they hit the green, how hard it is. It sounds like they're hitting pavement. It is that hard. It's like hitting concrete. And somehow they're getting these golf balls to bite. They're getting them to spin. Depending on the shot, you might be screwed. You see a lot of guys putting from off the apron just to try to get it close. So there's a lot of different strategies being used here at this course where it really doesn't play and can't be compared. Aura aside, everything else aside, this course really can't be compared apples to any other golf course in the world. It is on its own island. When you talk about Augusta National, when you talk about the course itself, okay, put the history, put the aura aside. I'm talking about the geography. I'm talking about the undulation. I'm talking about the fairways. I'm talking about the layout, okay? I'm talking about the Bobby Jones design. All these things compiled, put them in a blender, and you got yourself one hell of a golf course. And you can assume, you can guess, you can infer that golfers, even at the top of their game, of the highest caliber, are going to struggle at times with this golf course. That's just the way it is. That's the reality of the situation. So you got to deal with it. You got to face it. You got to face facts. And the other thing is, with these live golfers, they're not playing courses like this on a daily basis. They're playing out in Dubai. They're playing these courses that have more modern designs. And that's what they're playing on a regular basis. So I'm not saying the PGA Tour doesn't have events with more modern designs and aspects included, but they're playing more historical designs. They're playing more year over year, the same designs that have historically been played, been studied, etc. So they're able to play this style of golf and transition, I believe, into a style of golf which embodies Augusta National, what it is. Okay, so that's why you see several PGA Tour players, not necessarily, obviously, barring Patrick Reed, sitting up near the top of the leaderboard. These are PGA Tour golfers. Okay, the history will prevail, the legacy, the tradition, it will prevail. That's why they call it a tradition unlike any other. It really embodies what it means to be a part of the PGA Tour. And that's something that I love the most. When you're talking about the Masters, you're talking about the first major of the year, it's always in April. It's always the Masters. Stay hydrated, folks. Very important. With the weather changing, obviously allergies, things of that nature. We're about to be getting outside more. Stay hydrated. It's very easy. I don't care if it's winter. I don't care if it's the whole cold of the winter. If we're talking about a polar vortex from Antarctica, you still got to be hydrated. You still got to be drinking your water. So I just picked up these bad boys. These are the Air Jordans. These are the University Specials. And these are made by Jordan Golf. And if you notice, they have the spikes on the bottom, has the Jordan logo, has golf on it. It's got the Jordan logo on the side. You got Air Jordan here. You got the blue and white representing UNC. Obviously, Michael Jordan's alma mater. They look great. I had to buy them because they look great. I need new golf shoes. And the big question is, will they make me play better? Now, that's TBD. We're going to have to let you know about that once we're getting into full season form. Here, hopefully end of April, probably end of May, we'll get you a good read on that. But yeah, just to wrap up the Masters though, some guys I'm looking at, Tommy Fleetwood, I'd love to see him give Rory some shit and give him a little bit of pressure. It's going to be tough with a 6-stroke lead going into the weekend. That's for anybody. That goes for anybody in the chase. Tommy Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, Cameron Young. I love Cameron Young. Jason Day, he dropped 4 spots today, but I like Jason Day. Chris got her up at 3 under. First time playing the Masters. Okay, Brooksy's in there. Ben Griffin. Okay, Homa. Now some of these guys. Now we got to talk about Scotty. Everybody expected Scotty to come back this year after just having a newborn. He's he's been a dad, but he's got a new kid now. Where's his head going to be at? Is he going to be ready to play some golf, or is his mindset telling him he has to be at home or should be at home, or does he have other things on his mind? Absolutely he does. That's not up for discussion. Absolutely he's got other things on his mind. But is he or was he going to be able to execute and play Scotty Scheffler caliber golf for the Masters in 2026? I expected him to. We haven't seen it yet. We're seeing a 70-74 performance, shooting shooting even on day, or he's shooting even, sitting at even. We expect him to be better than this. Okay, he shot 2 under and he shot 2 over today. So we got to see more from Scotty. Obviously, he's a guy that loves to play from behind and do great things and really shock the world. But why do you make such a tall task for yourself? Now, obviously, he's got what he has. He's got a couple jackets. He's feeling good. He might be feeling a little bit complacent. I don't want to say that about Scotty. Okay, I don't mean to throw shade at Scotty. But that's what it looks like. So we got to see more. We got to see better. Thank God. Give him credit for making the cut into the weekend, but only barely. Spieth is another guy. You'd love to see him get another jacket, just because it's been so long since he's got a win, let alone a major win. Especially playing so good as a young golfer to really, I don't want to say fizzle out. He's always been grinding. He's always been working for it. But we haven't seen the top caliber level of Jordan Spieth golf really for a long time. So Jordan Spieth is due for a win very soon. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, the Gen Golf Tour, the summer schedule is underway. It is developing. It's always changing. We got a great event, just like I said in the last show, going up to Black Bear in Vanderbilt, Michigan. We're gonna have ourselves a day. We went up there last year. We tested it out, tested the waters. And the year before that, we went and played some Donald Ross courses, Donald Ross Designs up in Boyne. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see where else we will go, where else we will land in the year of 2026. And hopefully we can bring back the Corona Cup. That's what I'm hoping for, is we bring back the Corona Cup for another event in 2026. It's been far too long since we've done it. Maybe we'll go back to Ironwood. Maybe we'll go back to Brookshire. I don't know yet. Maybe we'll do something around here. But it's been too long since the Corona Cup has been up for grabs. So listen, I'm willing to accept the challenger. Now, it's never left my hands. I can't say the same about the Platinum Platter and the Turkey Bowl. But for the sake of the Corona Cup, it's always been in my possession. No matter what. So I'm willing to put it up for grabs yet again. And if we can get a challenger, then I'm all ears. I'm ready for it. Okay, so we gotta give the Michigan Wolverines their stripes. We gotta give them their award, which is credibility. It is worthiness. It is how do you want to put it? It's a victory. It's a national championship. It's something that Michigan basketball hasn't seen in the modern era. Okay, they can join the conversation of schools with multiple championships in football and basketball, joining none other than the Michigan State Spartans and the Florida Gators. All right? Give it to them. Give it to them. Give it to them. Now, we don't have to talk about the fact that the Michigan Wolverines have upwards of a $10 million NIL budget. Now, it can be argued, and it's been posted by unbiased sources, that the University of Michigan has purchased the quote-unquote best team in college basketball. Now, you couldn't do this 10 years ago, at least not openly. Michigan has purchased a team of all transfers. Now, listen, I know how this is going to come off, and I'm just the messenger here. And I like to pawn that off as the cop-out, and I will in this case. Because they still won the championship. You still got to go out, whether you have the best team in basketball, you bought the best team in basketball, or not, you still got to go out and play the games and win the game. I think it has to be noted, though, that that is the case. And you don't want to say put an asterisk by it, or, just like the naysayers were saying about Michigan when they won the Natty in football. I don't want to join the camp of the naysayers. I refuse to do that. I will share the information that is being publicized by the people, by the news, by the media, by the sports media, by the journalists, by the analysts. Okay, you can call anybody a naysayer that you want. If they have the information, they have the ammunition, they're gonna hate you because you won. That's just the nature of the beast. That's human nature. That's the human condition. No, you can't discount that these things are true. These things are true. They exist. And in the modern era, with NIL being such a commonality in college sports, it's hard to ignore the fact that NIL may play a role in competition. But we don't want to dive too much into that. Okay, if you want to talk to me about that, hit me up on Twitter or give me a call. We'll talk about it, chop it up. But there's really not much to be talked about. I don't want to say I was preying on their downfall on purpose, but maybe I was a little bit. And I had UConn in my bracket. So I said, in Dan Hurley we trust, and I was talking a little bit of shit to Michigan fans and things of that nature. Walmart Wolverines. There's several Walmart Wolverines. I know a lot of Walmart Wolverines. A hell of a lot more Walmart Wolverines than Michigan alumni. That's a fact. But these guys were swearing up and down Michigan basketball has it. They're unwilling to see the flaws with Michigan basketball. Kind of similar to Lions fans a little bit, but I feel like a lot of Lions fans have seen the light. But I was telling them, I said this, I said it in my Discord, mark my words, Michigan will lose. And I was wrong, so I have to own up to that. They won it fair and square, and whether they bought the best team in basketball or not, they won it. So be it as it may. But let's talk about the important information. Michigan State basketball, where do they go from here? Who's coming back? A lot of guys are coming back. Izzo's not going anywhere. Okay, he's not leaving this team out to dry. A lot of these players aren't leaving the team out to dry. Previous players, we talked about a previous show. Trey Holloman, we can kind of say with almost 99, if not 100% certainty, that was Trey Holloman texting Tom Izzo following everything unfolding and unraveling, saying he regrets leaving Michigan State and going into the transfer portal. Well, a little too late now. We could have used you this year too. Trey was really playing into his own the year before he left. I really couldn't make sense of why he left. Now, there's players that it makes sense. We talked about Xavier Booker. Okay? We've talked about others that have left where it makes sense. Trey Holloman didn't make sense. He was getting playing time. He was getting minutes. He was making baskets. He was shooting threes. He was taking more of a leadership role with the team. He knew Akins was leaving, so it probably would have been him as the top guy. He probably would have took precedence over Fears and some of these other guys. But also he had the relationships with Carson Cooper, Jackson Kohler, Fears, and others. He could have really grown into a leadership role and really been a great asset to this Michigan State basketball team, but he left. And then you regret your decision after you leave? How can you do that? No, you can't. That's not how it works. You got to ride or die with the team, and you'll have less regrets in the end if you do that. He didn't do that. So now he's dealing with the regrets in retrospect, and now you got to deal with your situation. Unfortunately, that's you make your bed, you sleep in it type thing. And I don't feel bad for him. I really don't. So I wish him all the best. But listen, you messed up. Own up to it. He probably did. But it doesn't fix the thing. It doesn't fix the problem. All right, we don't want to beat this too much into a pulp, but we got to talk about the Gin Sports Network Challenge 7. And I'm not talking about beat this into a pulp. I'm talking about beating into – I want to beat the Gin Sports Net, the GSNC 7. I want to beat that into a pulp to the people. I'm talking about the Masters. We can't beat the Masters through 36 holes into a pulp to the people. On the contrary, the Gin Sports Network Challenge 7 is the two-man event of the summer. Make sure to get registered on ginpros.org or ginsportsnetwork.com/TGC. The link to join and to register will be in the bottom of this podcast in the description. So make sure to get registered ASAP. Two-man teams. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful event. It's a beautiful structure. And it's for a great cause, the Thomas Smith Memorial Foundation. We're happy to support them yet again in our 7th installment of the tournament at Briar Ridge. Tradition unlike any other. Hallowed grounds. And we'll be playing in a league again with Tony Manerick in 2026 at Briar Ridge Golf Course in Montrose, Michigan. Wow. From what I hear, the course is looking great. It's looking damn good. I even heard that the greens are almost rolling at 11, which I was like, blew my mind to hear that. Plus, we got the Jordan University blue and whites. And I'm not a North Carolina fan by any stretch. By Hubert Davis leaving, by Roy Williams when he left. I shed a tear when Roy Williams left and Hubert Davis left. It is what it is. Okay, it's a business decision. These things have to be done. For progress to take place, these things have to be done. Now, you can't forget, North Carolina or Hubert Davis, they did beat Duke. And that's a big rivalry game. So you got to give him his stripes for that. You got to give him the credit where credit's due for that. But we're getting off topic. We're getting into the weeds here. Okay? We'll leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to check us out on social media at Gin Sports Network on IG. Find us on our website, ginsportsnetwork.com, and find me on Twitter and IG at Gin Commish. We'll see you guys here next time for the Gin Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, John J. II. Have a great night.